The flight attendant's hand slammed forward like a barrier, stopping Kendrick Hayes dead in his tracks as he tried to enter the first-class section. "Hold it right there, sir. This cabin is for premium ticket holders only. Yours says economy, row 27. Her words sliced through the buzz of passengers settling in, sharp and final. Kendrick stood frozen for a split second, his 5-year-old daughter Nia pressed against his leg, her tiny hand gripping his jeans so tight it hurt. He fumbled for his phone in his pocket, pulling up the boarding pass app with shaking fingers. "No, wait, see? C2A, first class. I paid the upgrade fee yesterday. It's all here." The attendant, her name tag gleaming under the cabin lights with Brenda in bold letters, gave it a quick once-over, her eyes narrowing in doubt. "Looks like a glitch. Or maybe a fake. Step back, or I'll have to involve security." Murmurs started from the seats around them, a few heads turning, and already, someone in the back pulled out a phone to start recording the scene. Kendrick's pulse raced, but he forced his voice to stay calm, even as heat rose in his chest. "Ma'am, please. I'm flying with my little girl here. She has asthma attacks sometimes, and the extra room up front helps her breathe easier during takeoff." Nia looked up at him with those big brown eyes, her backpack slung over one shoulder, stuffed with her favorite stuffed bear, a pack of crayons, and her emergency inhaler tucked in the side pocket. Brenda folded her arms across her chest, her uniform crisp and unyielding. "Policy doesn't bend for stories. Economy is down the aisle. Move along." A guy in seat 3C, a middle-aged businessman with a laptop already open, leaned into the conversation. "Come on, lady. He showed you the pass. Run it through your system or something." Brenda whipped her head around, her glare like ice. "This doesn't concern you. Mind your own seat." The air in the cabin grew thick, the narrow walkway filling with stares from other passengers, some whispering, others shifting uncomfortably in their spots. Kendrick moved Nia a step behind him, shielding her from the growing attention, his mind spinning with frustration. "Just double-check your tablet. I did the upgrade online last night after a long day at work. I wouldn't lie about this." Brenda tapped away on her device, her fingers flying, but her expression soured further, lips twisting into a skeptical frown. "Still showing economy. These scams pop up every week, people trying to game the system for free perks." A collective gasp rippled through the nearby rows, and Nia's small voice piped up, quivering. "Daddy, is she yelling at us? Did I do something wrong?" Kendrick dropped to one knee, cupping her cheek gently, whispering, "No, baby girl, it's just a mix-up. Daddy's handling it." But deep down, the injustice burned hot. Why assume the worst right away? This was supposed to be a smooth trip back home after visiting his mom, not this nightmare. The whispers turned into louder comments now, a woman in 4B muttering, "That's not right at all," while pulling out her own camera to film. Brenda hit her radio button with a huff. "Gate team, we've got a resistant passenger in first class refusing to relocate." Kendrick straightened up, planting his feet firm, determination steeling his spine. The recycled air in the plane felt heavier, loaded with tension and the weight of judgment from strangers. What would you do if you were in Kendrick's shoes, facing down unfair treatment with your child watching? But before we do, if you want to be entered in our video shout-out giveaway, simply subscribe now, then comment "I subbed" and you will be entered. This video's shout-out giveaway goes to Edward Patrick from Tennessee. Thanks for being part of the familia and supporting. Now, it's time to get back into the story. Out of nowhere, the cockpit door burst open with a bang, and Captain Harlan charged out, his red hair sticking up in wild tufts, his face flushed crimson with fury. He lunged forward, clamping a rough hand on Kendrick's shoulder. "You heard her, get your butt out of that seat before I drag you off myself." But as Harlan's fingers dug in deeper, the overhead lights stuttered and dimmed, and a low, ominous rumble vibrated through the entire aircraft. What on earth was happening now? Harlan's fingers clenched harder, like iron clamps, his hot breath blasting Kendrick's face as he leaned in close. "Who do you think you are, barging into my first class? This plane doesn't fly until you're in the back where you belong." Nia let out a sharp cry, hiding her face in Kendrick's thigh, her body trembling. Passengers all around sucked in breaths, a few jumping to their feet in shock. "Hey, ease up, man," a stocky construction worker type from economy bellowed, pushing past his seatbelt. Brenda took a small step aside, but her lips quirked in a satisfied smirk, like she enjoyed the backup. Kendrick twisted away, breaking the captain's hold, his arm throbbing from the pressure. "Keep your hands off me, or you'll be the one in trouble." Harlan threw his head back with a harsh, mocking bark of laughter. "Trouble? You're the delay here, buddy. Security's on their way, and you'll be lucky if you ever fly again." The rumble beneath their feet intensified, shaking the drink carts in the galley and sending loose items rattling in overhead bins. Another flight attendant, a young guy with wide eyes, leaned over to Brenda. "Captain, that noise, should we check the engines?" Harlan swatted the air dismissively. "Stay on task. This clown's the real issue, faking his way up front." Kendrick thrust his phone forward once more, screen glowing with the confirmation. "Call your headquarters. Run the number. It's legit, I swear on my daughter's life." But Harlan snatched the device right out of his hand, thumbing through it roughly, his thick fingers smudging the screen. "All phony. I've seen tricks like this before." Nia's quiet sobs broke through the noise, her face streaked with tears, and it hit Kendrick like a punch. This bully was terrifying his baby girl over nothing. Voices swelled from the seats, passengers piling on. "Hand the phone back, you jerk." A mom with her own kid in tow stood up, pointing accusingly. The tight confines of the plane amplified the uproar, turning the aisle into a pressure cooker. A college student near the window held her phone high, capturing it all. "This is blowing up online already, #airline abuse." Harlan's gaze flicked around nervously, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. He tossed the phone back at Kendrick with force. "Take your crap and sit in coach, or you're walking off in cuffs." Kendrick caught it just in time, then dropped down to comfort Nia. "Shoo, princess, we're okay. Daddy won't let anything bad happen." Her cries only fueled the fire in his gut, pushing him to stand his ground no matter what. The vibration hit a crescendo, culminating in a loud pop from somewhere outside, followed by piercing alarms shrieking through the speakers. Harlan's face drained of color. What in God's name? Screams erupted as the plane shuddered violently on the tarmac. Kendrick grabbed Nia, lifting her into his arms, his heart slamming against his ribs. Was this mess connected to the seat fight, or was there something far more dangerous at play? But right as fear gripped the cabin, the intercom sparked to life with a crackle, delivering a revelation that flipped the whole situation on its head. The speaker overhead hummed alive. "Ground control to Flight 892, stand down immediately. We have credible intel on aircraft tampering. Do not move." Tampering? The word echoed in Kendrick's head like a bad dream as Harlan whirled toward the cockpit door. "Tampering on my plane? That's impossible." The cabin went still, terror overriding the earlier outrage. Nia burrowed deeper into Kendrick's chest. "Daddy, is the plane breaking?" He stroked her hair, murmuring comforts, but his eyes locked on Harlan, who started yelling commands. "Everybody buckle up. We've got this handled." Yet his tone wavered, uncertainty creeping in like fog. Brenda rushed to the front, her tablet slipping in her sweaty grip. "Captain, the booking system's going haywire, seats are switching on their own." Harlan rounded on Kendrick with a snarl. "This you're doing? Some kind of tech prank to steal a seat?" Kendrick's mouth fell open in disbelief. "Are you serious? All I want is what I paid for." The shouts kicked off again, fiercer now. "Back off him." A teenager in the rear wailed, echoing Nia's distress, and a wave of shared sympathy rolled through the parents on board, their nods and glances showing they felt Kendrick's struggle in their bones. Airport security pushed their way aboard, boots thumping on the metal steps, two burly officers shoving through the crowded aisle. "Where's the problem passenger?" Harlan jabbed a finger straight at Kendrick. "Right here, haul him out." But the lead officer took Kendrick's ID and boarding pass, scanning them carefully. "This checks out, sir. Valid first-class upgrade." "What's the holdup?" Brenda stuttered, her confidence crumbling. It didn't show earlier," the officer interrupted sharply. "That's on your end. Say you're sorry and let him sit." Harlan's face turned a deeper shade of red, veins bulging. "I don't say sorry to nobody." Another tremor rocked the aircraft, the lights flickering out for a heartbeat before buzzing back on. Yells filled the space, panic spreading like wildfire. Kendrick clutched Nia tight, his heartbeat echoing in his ears. What if takeoff was impossible now? But then, static burst from the officer's radio, carrying words that laid bare Harlan's hidden shame. "Confirming now, Captain Harlan is flagged for illegal seat trading. Pocketing cash for unauthorized upgrades." The officer's announcement landed like a bomb. Harlan reeled backward. "That's a load of crap. Who fed you that garbage?" Passengers craned their necks, devices held high to catch the drama unfolding. Kendrick's brows shot up. This was why his seat got denied? Bumped for some under-the-table deal? Nia tugged at his shirt. "Daddy, is the captain a bad guy?" Kendrick gave a subtle nod, a mix of fury and vindication surging through him. Brenda's skin went ashen. "I had no clue." Harlan's eyes blazed at her. "Keep your mouth shut?" Boos thundered from the crowd. "Thief," a retiree hollered from midway back. Harlan charged at the officer, swinging wildly. "You ain't pinning this on me." Punches connected, turning the aisle into a brawl zone. People dove for cover as bodies tangled. Kendrick pulled Nia close, his heart aching at her wide-eyed fear, the chaos mirroring the storm inside him. The backup officer wrestled Harlan down. "You're done flying today." But Harlan slipped loose, bolting for the cockpit. "Nobody bosses me around." Sirens wailed outside, the plane listing slightly under the commotion. Dread clutched at throats. What madness was he planning? Kendrick rose, his voice cutting through. "Somebody grab him." But as the pursuit kicked off, Harlan's duffel bag toppled, a secret zipper popping open to spill piles of cash, linking him to an even larger web of deceit. Bills tumbled out in a cascade, 20s and 100s fluttering across the blue carpet like fallen leaves. Eyes widened in disbelief. "That's payoff cash," a sharp-dressed lady exclaimed. Kendrick swept Nia back from the clutter. "Don't touch it, honey." Her confused stare pulled at his heartstrings, innocence clashing with the ugly scene. Harlan halted dead, then roared. "That ain't mine, you planted it." Officers pounced, slamming him down, metal cuffs snapping shut with finality. Brenda dropped to her knees, scooping up notes in a frenzy. "Captain, how could you?" Harlan hissed back. "You knew about the cuts, you're dirty too." Her features twisted in shame, but the jeers from onlookers drowned her out. The shift hit hard. Harlan became the despised figure, his selfishness earning universal scorn. Kendrick sensed a spark of satisfaction amid the hurt. Finally, the scales tipping toward right. The speaker crackled once more. "Passengers, exit the aircraft now. Federal agents incoming." Cries softened to relieved sighs. But as the line formed to leave, Kendrick's gaze caught a crumpled paper in the money pile. "Shipment incoming, engine components." Components? A chill ran down his spine. Nia's cough started, her chest heaving from the stress-triggered flare-up. Kendrick dug out her inhaler fast. "Easy breaths, my girl." Outside, emergency lights flashed, agents flooding in, uncovering that the turmoil was merely the surface of a lethal conspiracy. Federal teams swarmed the jetway, IDs swinging as they yelled. "Clear the plane. Sabotage alert." Kendrick hoisted Nia onto his hip, guiding her down the shaky stairs, her wheezes faint but worrying. "Daddy, everything's spinning." He pressed a kiss to her temple, guilt washing over him. Maybe he should have backed down earlier to spare her this. Groups of travelers gathered on the asphalt, swapping tales under the harsh floodlights. "That pilot's a walking disaster," a dad muttered, hugging his own family. Harlan, restrained in zip ties, spewed curses from the sidelines. "This ain't over, you'll all regret crossing me." Agents brushed past, combing every inch of the plane. Brenda wept quietly nearby. It was supposed to be harmless extras. Her disloyalty stung her fellow staff, who averted their eyes in disgust. Questions swirled. How widespread was this rot? Kendrick passed Nia to an EMT for a quick check. "Will she be all right?" The tech gave a thumbs up. A wave of ease hit him, yet questions lingered about that note. An agent tapped his shoulder. "Hayes, your stand started the dominoes falling. Good work." But during the search, a tech's voice rang out. "Explosive device in the gear assembly." Horror swept the group. What if the flight had lifted off? Bomb techs arrived in heavy gear, tools clanking under the night sky. Kendrick kept Nia close, his rhythm pounding. "It's fake, has to be?" The agent's stony look said no. Clusters of people shivered in the cold, anxiety thick. Harlan cackled from his transport. "Fools. All part of the plan." Brenda broke down in sobs, spilling. He offloaded spare parts for quick money. The seats hid the real game. Shocked inhales filled the air. Kendrick's rage boiled over. This fool endangered everyone for greed? Nia's fingers tightened in his. "What's wrong with him, Daddy?" No words came, only sorrow for her shattered trust. The area cleared, and the squad neutralized the threat. Breaths eased, but unease hung on. "Tied to a network," the agent noted. Kendrick offered his video. "Take it, whatever helps." But Harlan's seized cell buzzed, a voice blasting, "Chief, the father's digging too deep." Kendrick went rigid. Who had eyes on him? The echo faded, freezing the scene. Cut the line. Agents hustled. "Get a trace." Kendrick drew Nia nearer, dread replacing shock. How did they know his role? Folks dispersed to waiting areas, but he lingered, pulled by the puzzle. Harlan grinned from his hold. "Stirred the hive, didn't you, Hayes?" His venom sparked Kendrick's fire. Brenda, turning state's evidence, added details. Partners in management. Her sorrow showed, but forgiveness was scarce. Nia dozed on a hard chair, worn out. Kendrick gazed at her serene face, warmth breaking through the storm. An agent dashed up. "Threat level high for you. Relocation program?" He shook his head. "We face it head on." But in the shadows by the maintenance bay, a figure crept off with a kit, vanishing into the dark. The silhouette bolted, case banging against metal. Kendrick yelled to the feds. "Look, someone's running." Pursuit launched, boots slamming concrete. Nia stirred with a whimper. "Daddy?" A helpful stranger scooped her up. Kendrick raced after, adrenaline surging. They pinned the guy in a corner, a greasy tech, panting. Harlan cut me in. Tails tumbled, bogus checks, pilfered gear. The operation cracked wide, cuffs waiting for more. Kendrick tasted victory, yet ached for victims' losses. Returning, Nia leaped into his arms. My brave daddy. Happiness bloomed, but media frenzy erupted, corporate fraud exposed. Markets plunged. Feds clapped his back. Lives spared because of you. Calm descended, until his phone lit with a message, your turn comes soon. Sender unknown? The screen's glow taunted. Kendrick flagged agents. Seal this line. Yet images flooded in, Nia playing at daycare. Panic seized him. They've got reach? The syndicate's tendrils ran deep. Harlan cracked under lights. Top exec pulled strings. Shockwave, leadership chasing profits over safety. Busts ensued, suits paraded in handcuffs on breaking news. Kendrick gave statements from hiding, mixed feelings of chaos and honor. Nia bounced back, giggles returning. No more scares. He grinned. All done, kiddo. Ups and downs forged their tie stronger. The company overhauled, protocols tightened. Kendrick earned perpetual perks. Peace settled. But on their rescheduled trip, a ringtone pierced, one got away. The final player, loose and vengeful.